All right, guys, welcome aboard. Today we'll talk about the price of Bitcoin. Yesterday was the last update, and yes, I'm trying to do them regularly. So we'll look at what happened with the price, and also I would like to talk about the major picture a little bit, where to expect the bottom of the current cycle, and from where it might go up, and what is the potential indicators or the metrics to show us that. So first of all, let's look at the current situation. As you remember, we had this yellow support slash resistance zone, which was broken, and then we actually had the support above the previous low, which is again above the lower support red rectangle here, and which means that we technically still at the upper local trend. So does mean that we are about to flip the whole bearish trend which we had so far? It is still a question because, again, we need to see the confirmed breakout from this consolidation zone. So far, it is still the range between $18,000 and maybe $22,500. But currently, what we see is that despite the inflation news, which we discussed yesterday, the inflation in the United States, which is like the historical value over 9%, the price of Bitcoin is actually climbing up. And we see, again, locally, we see higher highs, higher lows, meaning that the trend is bullish. Moreover, we broke that yellow zone easily without, well, we did the test actually yesterday at a pullback, but then we tested again and broke this zone eventually pretty easily. And if we look at the Bollinger Bands at the moment, we are again at the higher area, at the upper part of the Bollinger Bands cloud. And at the daily time frame, let me remove that for a while, we actually did break the middle line here as well, and we are in the upper part again. So as you can see, we actually did test the bottom of the cloud, the upper part, the bottom again, and we are having this kind of sideways within the narrow area. Pretty much the same as we had here, pretty much the same as we had here. So what do we expect? We expect some new, like, pretty much strong move. Where will it be? Nobody knows. But again, as soon as we break that area, it is likely that we'll continue to go along with the direction of the breakout. Currently, I am still remaining relatively bullish. I think that we've been dropping for a while without correction, so that is the time when we finally should see some correction of the preceded drop. I don't think that we hit the bottom so far yet. I think the bottom is still ahead of us, but for the moment, it is reasonable to shake out all of those hands who hold short positions and then eventually drop after the buyers are over. And I don't think that there are so many left. So that is the situation. Again, pretty simple. We're looking at the test, looking for the test of this zone, so the resistance zone of a green color here, $22,000, and as soon it is tested and we see some kind of continuation of test here, well, of course the scale might be different, we probably will see the breakout, and then this is the confirmation of our bullish trend. But again, trading wise, we need to see how that evolves. Generally though, on the long term, I would like to show you this. So we actually had pretty similar behavior of BTC comparing with the rest of the cycles. We had not so many of those, but still, as you can see, we had, oh, let me open actually a different chart here. Maybe this one, Bitstamp, is slightly better. So we had the all-time high, then the bear market, accumulation, new bull market, bear market with 50 or 80 or more percent drop, then another accumulation, wide accumulation zone, then another bull market, and then bear market again. So nothing is new under the sun, and that kind of a price model was valid so far. Nobody says that it continues forever, so we might see something like this easily, guys. However, if we believe that it continues to repeat the same manner, meaning that we'll continue to have some kind of a bear market, then accumulation at the bottom, then new bull trend, then I would go with price models which are based on the on-chain metrics. And here you can see several. Realized capitalization, this one with the orange color, CVDD, coin value days destroyed, with the pink color, and delta, which is the difference between the realized and average capitalization. What I would like to, well, if you are interested about those in detail, then realized value here is value of all coins in circulation at the price they last moved. So basically that is not the exact capitalization, but the capitalization of each based on each coin with respect to its final price. And CVDD is the integrated number of the days per price for those UTXOs, for those coins which were moved within the blockchain. So this is another on-chain metrics which is pretty powerful. So and delta is, again, as I said, is just realized cap minus average cap. Average is just the normal market capitalization. So what we have here is that we can see the clear trend, and I would probably remove this. Oh, sorry, not this one. Remove the top because it's just CVDD probably multiplied by a certain value. So leaving just the bottom. So we can see here that the CVDD pointed out the bottom in 2011, 2012, and then CVDD pointed the bottom and in 2015. It pointed the bottom in 2018. So far, I'll just zoom it in for you guys. We didn't touch that metrics so far yet. It is within, well, around $15,000. As I say, $15,000 is the conservative value for the bottom at this point. So if we assume that this is a kind of a normal behavior which you would expect to happen with the price of Bitcoin continuing its normal cycles, that is the area which we have to look at. Also, there is this delta. So let me remove the realized cap. Well, actually, first, I would like to point out that the difference, the area between the CVDD and realized curve is generally the area of accumulation, so-called accumulation, when you can get the relatively low price of BTC. And again, we are already there. We are already within this range, close to the top of it. Not necessarily will go to the bottom. Again, this is just the model, but technically we are still very close to the desired range of the accumulation. And finally, if we look at the delta, you may say that, okay, that was actually the intersection, right? And that was the bottom. Another intersection, that is the bottom. And here is another intersection, but we are above it, right? So this is already doesn't follow with the same trend. What I would point out though is that on this cycle, the delta curve was above the CVDD curve all the time, even though it was the bottom. Here we had this intersection, and they flipped for some time, for a while actually. Here there was, they flipped several times, but generally, again, it's not the same as here, and it's kind of a mixed behavior. So we may expect that the intersection itself doesn't mean much, but the fact that they are starting to flip over and over, that is the signal of the accumulation phase. Still, because here we didn't have the intersection, here we had the intersection, here we had the intersection after, actually doesn't make the correlation clear. So that means that basically this intersection is not informative enough. So, which is more important is that the bottom is around the CVDD area, CVDD curve. So that is the very important zone, I think, to look at, and to look for BTC at this price. So if we can buy around this zone, I would say again conservatively, and if we believe that BTC will continue to climb to its new all-time high within next few years, then it is the very interesting point to accumulate it long term. This is pretty much it for today, guys. I hope that it was informative to some extent and maybe it helps some of you. I see a few comments from Rush, if I pronounce your name right. Thank you very much. I'm glad to see all of you guys also watching and leaving likes and comments. Thanks a lot. I will try to continue to do that often, and we will continue to grow. I see your comment on gold BTC ratio chart looking pretty interesting. Yes, gold to BTC is not only interesting, but it's another topic which I'm going to talk about in general. What do we want to invest during crisis? Gold, BTC, or maybe other assets? A short hint, neither, but probably the area, the field of which you might be interested for investment in general is high tech. This is my strong opinion that high tech is the field which will continue to rise, and that is our long-term vision for investment wise as well. Okay, guys, that is pretty much it for today. A very short stream, but I hope that it was informative. See you next week, probably on Tuesday, and safe trading. Goodbye.